What's up, guys? Welcome back to Pair of Souls. Thanks to all my subscribers who've been supporting us, watching our videos. Man, we really appreciate it. To all the new viewers out there, to give you a little background on me, I'm a 35-year-old Canadian living here in Bohol, Philippines with my beautiful Filipina girlfriend. I absolutely love it here, guys. Daghan Pilipinas, Salamat Pilipinas. I love it. The people are great here. I wouldn't choose another country to live in, guys. You guys are so awesome. Thanks for supporting again, guys. Let's get into today's story. Alright, guys, this story is about cockfighting. I'm not saying I'm for it or against it. I'm in a country that supports it. It's a sport here. It's celebrated. They do cockfightings during birthdays, wedding celebrations, death anniversaries. You name it, guys, they do it here. It's not always to the death like you might think. They don't always have to have a winner or a loser, like a death. Sometimes it's just for fun, guys. I'm not going to go too much into detail on how they do that. I'm just going to tell you my experience with my first cockfight here in the Philippines. Alright, so like I said before, during birthdays, weddings, all that stuff, they'll have these cockfights. And this was back in 2014. My first time here in the Philippines. I was alone. I hadn't met Zarina yet, so it was kind of like all new to me here. And me and a couple of my friends were invited to a birthday not too far from my house here. So why not? Filipinos are very welcoming. They didn't even know me, but I was like the first I was the first foreigner in this area, so they were very like happy and they wanted me in there. They wanted me in the pictures. So that's exactly what we did. My friends didn't really know the family that well either, which will explain a lot as I continue this story. So yeah, all was well. Went down, we had our lunch. It was for our lunchtime. As you may or may not know, here in the Philippines, it's normal to invite your neighbors' friends, friends of friends. I mean, there must have been a couple of hundred people showing up at the house at different times. So our time to go there, so it wasn't too crowded, was lunchtime, so that's what we did. And while I was there, they wanted to have a cockfight. It was a birthday, right? It was my first cockfight, and yeah, it was something I wanted to experience. So, you know, as a foreigner here in the Philippines, I wanted to stay away from two things. That was the police and anything criminal. Those were two things I knew. You know, you're traveling to a developing country. You don't want to get in trouble with the police, and you don't want to get in trouble with the criminals. So let's keep that in mind as the story goes. So yeah, they wanted to go do the cockfighting, but because it's still technically illegal to do cockfights like in your backyard, you should be going to like a designated CockPit, they're called. They're arenas for cockfighting. Check that photo out here, guys. So since it was kind of like a backyard cockfight, we had to go a little further. We had to go far enough where again, there was going to be at least 100 people watching, screaming, betting, gambling, what have you. We had to go far enough that the neighboring houses would not hear us. So that's exactly what we did, guys. I wasn't really expecting it, but it was probably a good 15-20 minute walk at least through the jungle, through the path, man-made path. You couldn't even get there by motorbike or by car. It was like walking only to get there. And when we got there, it was basically like a 5 meter by 5 meter square. Looked like a boxing ring, a wrestling ring, what have you, but it was kind of closed off, so the roosters couldn't get out of the pen. And when my group had got there were already people fighting the roosters. There were already people there. They were already gambling, wild. People were drinking, eating. They brought food from the party. It was quite a fun time. We were enjoying it. It was great. I think I bet a little bit. I might have bet like 100 pesos, like $2.50. I forget if I won it or lost it. It was all for fun. I was the only foreigner there, the only white man there, so it was very, they were welcoming me, showing me how it works, how the gambling works, all that stuff. And the roosters are just beautiful. You know, that's another thing. Again, I'm not saying I'm for it or against it. I'm just here to tell you my story, but the roosters were just like so beautiful. Different colors, different sizes. It was so nice to see like how loyal those roosters are to their owners. Like anyone else picking them up, you know, the roosters wouldn't have it. Roosters alone, they will fight each other. Whether or not there's people involved, whether or not you're doing it for gambling or whatever, if you leave two roosters together, that's why they're always tied up or in cages. Two roosters will fight to the death if you don't stop them. I've heard stories around here where two roosters have gotten out of their cages and have went at it. There's no knife or nothing stuck to their leg, which is how the cockfight arenas do it to make the fights go a little faster. There's a, if I can explain it, it's kind of like a sickle. It's a curved razor sharp blade on one of the rooster's feet. Both roosters have one. There's actually like a ritual to putting that knife on too. There's a whole story behind that. So yeah, roosters will fight. Like I said, if they're left alone long enough, it might take 8 hours, 10 hours. Even without the knife, one rooster will die. They fight, they're very territorial. So back to the story. We're gambling, everything's going fine, everything's going good. I'm trying to keep away from police, I'm trying to keep away from criminals. So I'm constantly looking over my back. You know, I'm always like that. I've been like that back home when I was in Canada. I'm just always on the lookout. For some reason, I'm the only one who's spotted from the corner of my eye, probably a good 80, 100 meters away, so quite far, but I can pick them out. There were two police officers. Weren't sure if they were female, male, what. They were on foot because motorbikes and cars could not get to the area we were in. The best way I can describe the area, we were the only flat area in the middle. It looks like they cleared it out specifically for the cockpit. And all around the cockpit on a 45-degree angle everywhere was mountain and jungle. If you didn't take the path that we took getting there and you went up anywhere else, it was just bush, jungle, who knows what's up there, guys. So yeah, basically 45-degree angle, mountains, cockpit down at the bottom, nice cleared out area, somewhere you can stand, not have to worry about snakes and centipedes crawling on your leg. So that's where we were. So on the corner of my eye, I see those two police officers making their way towards the cockpit. My initial thought was, okay, they're not running to us. I'm not sure if those are the only two police officers. Are there other police officers coming down the mountain after us? The only thing I knew in my head, that cockfighting was illegal if done in the backyard, which is what we were doing, and I was freaking out. So I don't even think twice. I don't look at anybody. I just make a bolt. I run as fast as I can. I'm in flip-flops, I'm in shorts, and I'm in a short sleeve wife beater, sando. And I just make a bolt for it. I'm going up the mountain. I don't care who's following me. All I know, the police officers are coming to this cockpit. So I make a dash up this mountain, okay? I'm going through bush, guys. I'm getting bit by I don't know what. There's mosquitoes. There's this grass that grows here in the Philippines up in the mountains. It just cuts you all up. I don't think I felt it while I was running, but when I did stop and the adrenaline started to slow down, I started to feel it. But I made my way all the way up that mountain, guys. And when I looked back, I couldn't see anything because since I was on that 45-degree hill with all the trees and plants and everything, I could not see the cockpit arena until I got to like near the top of the mountain. And I didn't realize it at the time, but when I turned back around, when I get to the top, there's like 5 people following me. There were some other Filipinos that were there. Actually, a couple of my friends that didn't really know the family that well, didn't know that many people there. They came with me. I didn't even realize it. I was just running as fast as I could up that mountain, stepping on who knows what. So I turn around, there's a few guys with me there, and everyone's out of breath. We're all tired. We're freaking out. We're not sure if people are getting arrested down there, if there's more police coming in. But since we were at the top, we were able to get a good view down at the cockpit. All right, so we look down and we hear laughter. They're still gambling. They're still fighting the roosters. I mean, we're like, what the f? So we look out and I swear we were probably, again, over 100 meters away from the cockpit up this mountain. But I specifically remember the police officers pointing their fingers up. And again, I'm white as snow, so they can point me out, you know, like no one. So I specifically remember them pointing up and laughing at us and laughing and laughing. And still at the time, I didn't know what they were laughing at. Were they laughing because, I don't know, there were army coming down the other side of the mountain? They were like, ah, you white boy, you're getting caught anyway. You know, we had no clue what to think. So at the time, we just said, screw it. We're taking off. I don't know where this path leads. One of the guys that I was with, he's from here. He knew the area. It took us, again, probably over 20 minutes because it wasn't on the path. Up, down, across the mountains till we got to the main road. till we got back to our home. Tired, cut up, drenched in sweat, muddy. I mean, it was a heck of a time, guys. So the story goes, the next day, all right, we find out that those 2 police officers that came to the CockPit arena were family members of the party we had just went to before. They just happened to be in their uniform. They were on duty. They were just coming for a lunch, and they wanted to also go do some gambling or whatever, maybe just watch, right? The cockfight. So there you go. They were friends of the people at the party. They weren't going to do anything. No one got arrested at that CockPit. They were just laughing their heads off at me. Like I said, that was the next day. I just remember going down to my little village here, and everyone is just like, Chris, we heard what happened. You're running from the police. You're running from the police. I was kind of embarrassed. At the same time, I was a bit relieved that no one would, because that whole night I was thinking that maybe they would come knock at my door here, and you know, I don't know how it works here. I was new here. It was my first year here. But the funny thing about that story is that happened back in 2014. Still to this day, since there were so many people at that CockPit, you know, 100+ people at that CockPit fight, a CockPit arena, I guess, you know, people talk here in the Philippines. That's another thing, whether it's good talk or bad talk. If anything happens here, thousands and thousands of people are going to know about it, and that's a fact, guys. It's crazy. So still to this day, I'll be in like another village, another city, you know, and I'll meet someone who was a cousin's friend's brother of someone that was at that birthday party, and they'll bring up, oh, you're the foreigner who ran from the police, you know, something like that. And still, even the police, because I guess the 2 police officers went back to their shift, went back to their fellow officers and told them that story about me. And still to this day, like I said, 8 years later, I'll still get that, oh yeah, I remember you, you're the one who ran from the police, you're the one who ran. They found that so funny, guys. And I guess if it was a Filipino running, it wouldn't be that funny, but they find it hilarious that it was a white man running from the police. They were really laughing about that there, guys. So that's my little story here, you know. And I'll just give a little piece of advice to anyone new coming here, wanting to live in the Philippines or come here. With that story being said, with that gossip going through, whether you do good here or bad here, everyone will know about it. Very easy to tarnish your name here. I know some foreigners in the area, whatever, that have ruined their name from certain things they've done to neighbors, whether it was your fault or not your fault. I mean, keep to yourself. Remember, you're in another country, guys. Respect their traditions. Become Filipino. That's it. That's all I can say. Just do your best to fit in. Don't start shit. All right? So that's my little story, guys. I really hope you guys liked my first cockfight experience. Yeah, shoot me a like, guys. Shoot me a comment. We love you all. Thanks again for watching, all. Peace out.